You know, when I was asked to come by, it was sort of a thank you. When I was asked to come by, it was sort of a they do everything big in Texas, don't they? I was asked to come by to say a few words of thanks to the military, but when I got here, and I want to, but when I got here, I was told, well, you know, you should say some few things about Texas. So I'll mention a couple of things that I know about Texas. Number one, and this might upset some people, but I've been a Dallas Cowboy fan. I know there's some Houston Texans fans out there too. But I've honestly been a Dallas Cowboy fan for as long as I can walk. I go back Bob Hayes and Starbuck and Danny White and even Dwayne Thomas. You know, you remember Dwayne Thomas. The bad news is about Houston football, Texas football is my son played 2 years for the Rams, and he had a tryout, a workout in Houston, and they didn't hire him. So if there's anybody in this room that has him full, not that I'm asking for any favors, you know who you are. So make the appropriate call. When my son played high school football, he was elected to play in the, I think it was the first, the Army game, the high school all-star game in San Antonio, Texas. That was my first trip to San Antonio. And he called me up and he said, Dad, you know, my roommate, he says, is this guy, he's a quarterback, he's real tall, he doesn't look like he's running fast, but nobody can catch him. I said, well, what's his name? He said, Vince. I said, Vince what? He said, Vince Young. I said, all right, I don't know who he is, but put him on the phone. I said, young man, he was 17, 18, I think. Yes, sir, Mr. Washington. This is Mr. Washington. I said, this is Mr. Washington. I don't know who you are. I heard you can run fast, but my son's the running back. And you better give him the ball, or I'm going to come see you. But needless to say, things kind of worked out pretty well for him, I'd say. I also just want to say sincerely a thank you to you all, to the state of Texas, for the work that you have done and the work that you did and are still doing, helping the people from New Orleans go through the trauma that they went through. Hat up to you for that. Now, as it relates to the military, you know, I was going through a list of movies, and I'm trying to act cool and act like I don't need glasses, but I'm gonna put them on anyway. Anyway, so I was thinking about the military, and I just made a list of all the movies I made that have been related to the military. And I was an ex-soldier in Man on Fire. I worked with the Navy on Antoine Fisher and Crimson Tide. I was in World War II with The Soldier Story. I was in the Civil War with Glory. And I had the opportunity to train at the National Training Center in Fort Irwin, and even qualified on an Abrams tank for the film Courage Under Fire. I played an FBI agent who was an ex-military man, and I'm about to play a CIA agent who's an ex-military man. But you know, the things that I learned from my experience, and I love to do a lot of research and being out in the field with the man and getting a chance to get a small taste of what they do without the obvious dangers that they're exposed to. But I got a sense, and I began to understand what camaraderie is all about and what being there for your fellow man is all about. But it really hit home for me, actually, in Texas. In fact, I'm going to introduce him. He didn't know I'm going to introduce him. But Ranger Jones, come up here. Ranger Jones, let me tell you something. Ranger Jones I met 20 years ago. We were doing the movie Glory, and Ranger Jones was the I don't know, has there ever been a two-time Ranger of the Year? Again? Yeah, he was, but two-time Ranger of the Year, right? Ranger Jones was a two-time Ranger of the Year, which is pretty amazing. He was just voted this year Veteran of the Year. He was voted NCO of the Year. Ranger and I go way back to glory, but one of the most important things that he got me involved in the state of Texas was a couple of 3-4 years ago when he took me down to Brooks Army Medical Hospital and introduced me to the soldiers there who had been badly, hurt and maimed and burned, and I took all my children, and I was amazed at just their desire to get back to work, to get back with their men. Needless to say, I've learned so much from my experiences with the military. I've learned so much of my experiences in Texas. In fact, I directed a movie called The Great Debaters, which we shot at Wiley College in Marshall, Texas. We also shot in, Palestine? Not Palestine. Palestine, Texas. Palestine, right? Palestine. Courage Under Fire, we shot in Austin, Texas. And El Paso, Texas. So I just want you all to know I love you. I have the utmost respect for your state and for the military and what you do. Have a good time. Don't drink too much. Eat all you want. God bless you.